Welcome back, guys. This is ZCT 28, and in this topic, we are not going to focus on me or my BRZ. We're going to focus on Matt. He's had quite a change in his current, I guess you could say, car lineup over the past couple of years.
Yeah.
And he's got hopefully some pretty exciting big plans in store. So, yeah, kick it off.
So, kind of give you some background. My first track car, actually was my original 86 back in the day.
And we're saying AE86.
AE86, not FRS or BRZ or anything. So that became my track car. Some stuff happened to that one, change of plans. Don't want to track that anymore. And that is actually potentially going to go on Bring a Trailer. So keep an eye out for that. So I transitioned to a bunch of different other things, but then I landed on a Fiesta ST. And so I actually really love that car. And, I did quite a bit of stuff to it, radiator, intercooler, race seat, took out the Willwood brakes, which are in, that could be a whole nother topic. And fitness driven it on track too. And that was really fun because I'm more of a casual track driver. I'm not hardcore. I'm not the most skilled. Front wheel drive is really good setup, platform to learn on if you want to drive casually because it's very forgiving.
Yeah.
You don't spin out. It's really hard to spin out. I couldn't imagine spinning out in a front wheel drive car. And it's just a lot of fun to take to the track. And it had a decent amount of power. And so a couple of years ago, I just looked it up, Kelley Blue Book or whatever. And it was, and I'll just be very transparent with the numbers. Who cares, right? It was Kelley Blue Booking for $13,000. And I was just gutted.
Well, what did you buy it at?
I bought it at $23,000 after tax licensing.
After tax licensing. So that was probably 20 point something MSRP, right?
Yeah, high 19 or low 20.
For 2016.
For 2016. So I still, to this day, it's a shame they don't make it. That was the best, more daily focused track car that you could buy right off the lot.
Yeah.
Because it was so convenient and you can stuff a bunch of stuff into it. So I bought it for, $23K, and I took a loan on it and then I paid it off in a few years. They're offering crazy loans, by the way, right now. It's 72 months or something like that.
Yeah.
But anyways, besides the point, I Kelley Blue Booked it 3 years ago. It's $13,000. My heart just sank. I was okay, I'm all in on this. I'm gonna, get a LSD for it, which I did. And I didn't install it because I haven't been to the track in a while, admittedly, but I plan to get back out there with something else. But with this recent car craze in terms of supply and demand and COVID and the car market, I basically got a quote from Carvana and they were willing to give me $20,000 for it.
Yeah.
I was
what's the mileage on it again?
It's around high 20s, 28 or 26 or 28K.
So still miles. Pretty low mileage, but consider this is a 2016 Fiesta. I know it's a Fiesta ST, but at the end of the day, it's still the most economy based car
it's Ford's cheapest car by far.
Yeah.
And with just, a better motor. Pretty good suspension. You don't even need to screw around with the suspension. It's great. But yeah, it has Android Auto, Apple CarPlay. That's better. Yeah, which is actually pretty nice little head in little unit there. But they gave me $20,000 for it.
So they basically gave you MSRP for your car after you drove it for 6 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was I gotta sell it. So I just put everything back together, the things that they would, question. I'm not going to leave the big brake kit on there because a normal person would be able to change brakes on that. It's just they'd be what the heck is this? So, and so I'm going to sell the aftermarket parts on Craigslist or whatever. But now the stall is empty. So for a second car,
you have the AE86, but if we do, post it on Bring a Trailer, the stall will be empty.
Yeah. And I'm not going to track the 86. I shouldn't track that anyway. So that being said, now I'm kind of in this, car limbo phase. And this is kind of fun, but also daunting because of this new car market, right? So we've talked about this and in our opinions, and we could be wrong. We're not, financial professionals or whatever, but in order to gain on your purchase or in order to gain on your sale of your vehicle now, you have to basically buy something new at MSRP to make out on top, because if you buy another used car, that used car price is just going to be inflated to what you sold your car.
Yeah, you're going to net out at basically Like you're not leveraging the fact that the used car market is hot right now.
Exactly. So definitely a seller's market. If you have another car in hand, totally suggest selling it. My Carvana experience was positive. They just walked around it once, drove it up and down the block, and took it.
I've had a lot of people tell me, like friends told me, like their Carvana selling experience is fantastic.
Yeah. But that being said, be careful when you buy off Carvana.
Well, yeah.
Because you might get my Fiesta. So that being said, you know, it was your friend who DM'd you saying he sold his Fiesta for a good amount of money that prompted me to look into this.
I mean, he actually made several $1,000
money.
on it.
I didn't make money. I just drove the car cheaply for 6 years. But that being said, now I'm kind of in this limbo where my current install is like I have my 8.6 and then I have a Lexus GX 460, which I love.
Yeah.
But that has also gone up in value. So I have a lot of range of capital to kind of play around and to, buy something to take to the track, but also as a daily. Because I can't daily the GX because it costs me a fortune in gas alone. Mm-hmm. It takes premium gas. There's no way. And it gets like 15 miles a gallon or whatever.
Yeah.
So I drove this BRZ, had a good time. But so something maybe in the 30 range, but if I move some more money around, maybe get something in maybe the 40K range, maybe take a loan or whatever. And so it opens up the door to a lot of possibilities right now. And so we were talking about this, and, one of the options, and I've been watching Fenton's videos, is a BRZ. So, we talk about it in a lot of other episodes. You've seen all his videos. It's a great car. I am just kind of spoiled and not used to something like this is for you, one of your most daily drivable cars.
Right.
But for me, on the daily driver spectrum, like this is definitely on the lower side.
You need more space.
I need more space. I'm a bigger guy. These seats are great for Fenton, but for me, like my thighs were like kind of splurging
you
over.
You were about to say thunder thighs.
My thighs were splurging over the bucket seats. My sides were a little bit over. I'm a little bit bigger in the midsection. So, I kind of need to get maybe something a little bit more roomier.
Yeah.
So some things that have come to mind, and this is, there's probably a bunch of topics we could talk about. So let's just say like 40K is the budget right now, right?
Yeah.
That puts this into play. I have also looked at things like the Camaro SS1LE.
Yeah, well, that's more like
mid 40s
to 50.
That's more like mid 40s. But then something that I'm more drawn to, and we've talked about this, and I've mentioned this in other podcasts, is that the CTR is looking really attractive to me right now.
Especially because you're more inclined towards front wheel drive than rear wheel drive.
I'm not like a purist. Like I just like to have fun on the track, and whatever makes that easier to go fast, which is front wheel drive essentially, I'm all for it.
Or all wheel drive.
Or all-wheel drive, or all-wheel drive. So that comes also into play is the new Toyota, right? That comes into play too. The Corolla
the GR Corolla, which is I don't know if that's officially confirmed. There's some rumors, like official rumors, saying that it's coming, but we'll have to see.
Yeah. So right now, that's kind of where things are at. It's been a crazy car journey thus far. But yeah, like I was saying, I kind of need something that. I prefer something that's a little bigger, and so the CTR comes into play, and we've already talked about that car on a previous episode.
It's such a good car.
Yeah. So, like, maybe you can give me the rundown on the current CTR, like, and then maybe in the comments who have that car, what's your experience with it? Because I'm really interested in it. For the track, right? We'll talk about two things for the daily of the track. So the track driving, it only needs one thing, right?
To me, it really only needs one thing, which is like better cooling. I don't know exactly what that entails, but it definitely needs an oil cooler.
Okay.
Maybe a bigger intercooler and a bigger radiator. Just do everything. But the stock FK8 CTR will not do a 20-minute session in like 70-degree weather.
Really? So when you tracked it, because I saw you had a track review video, did you already encounter, like, I don't know how many laps you got in, but did you encounter?
I did maybe 5 laps at Laguna Seca in a bone stock Civic Type R.
And then you encountered those heating issues, right?
I mean, I literally watched the temp gauge, the oil temp gauge, just do that, and then eventually it was like, okay, I'm not gonna risk it, so I backed off.
Because it's someone else's vehicle, right? So yeah, that's the only thing. But I heard after that, pretty much when you address that, it's pretty much good to go.
Yeah, I think the stock brakes are fantastic. Just do pads and fluid. The stock suspension is a perfect balance between daily and track. It has a mechanical limited slip differential, which, so you don't have to upgrade that like you were thinking about doing with your Fiesta.
Yeah.
It has reasonable aero. Like, it doesn't make a ton of downforce, but like, it's set up from the factory to be very capable. I would say it's more track focused from the factory than the BRZ.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. So yeah, like I said, CTR's in play, and the new one's coming out. So I'm like pretty excited to see what that looks like. Although unfortunately, I feel like it's going to suffer from a lot of the other new car releases where the MSRP, or they jack up the price way over MSRP. We'll see if they do that, because they're saying it's going to be around 40, and then it's just like I'm going to see them on the lot for like 50 plus. I'm just like, come on, like, yeah, that's such a bummer. Like, the current car market, the state it's in, I've been seeing that markup on literally every car. So yeah, the fact that I got this for MSRP is pretty impressive.
Like, MSRP nowadays, especially for like performance cars, means so little. Like, if you want a GT3.
Oh, like, gosh.
Yeah, that's like $160,000 car, right? Good luck paying anything less than $210 right now. Ugh. Like, the amount of markup is crazy. But like you said, I was able to get this car for MSRP. So if we're able to find one, out of state or something, like, we could definitely just fly there, pick it up, and
do the same thing you did.
Like, do the same thing I did.
Become the BRZ boys, the Rice Gang, know? So, I mean, that is appealing. And then I guess my impressions of this car, like when I was driving around, like, shifter's pretty solid. I mean, it's not like, gosh, and the S2000 shifter's just so. I hate to be part of the thing where you always bring up the S2000, but even for me, the S2000 shifter, probably the best shifter on a OEM driver sports car, other than like Porsche cars.
I would say it's better than the GT3's shifter.
I like the GT3 clinkingness, like the feeling of it, but the precision and the feel of an S shifter, probably the best one out there.
It's the gold standard.
I think it is too. So, but anyways, stop getting off on the S2000. But yeah, this is definitely in play. Like I said, Camaro SS1 LE. Like, the 1LE SS has probably been like my attainable dream track car to have, because it's just it's more power than I'll ever need. Like, I don't go all out. I'm not the fastest on track. I don't have aspirations to be like ultra good or anything. I just like going around and having a good time. That's more than enough than a lot of drivers need in a car.
I'll say with the Camaro SS1 Elite, a lot of people look at it on paper like, oh my God, 455 horsepower rear wheel drive. You're going to kill yourself if you don't know what you're doing, right? That's actually not the case, because the one I reviewed recently.
Right. Yeah, the video of this. Yeah.
Yeah. The owner, Nate, like, showed me, like, look at all the stuff that Chevy has put into this car. Like, there's so many different modes that you can literally just dial the modes to be exactly what your ability level is. So the car will save you if you do that properly. Yeah. So it's really not like the old days of driving a high powered muscle car like oh gosh, like a C5 Corvette Z06 or something, where, like, if you put your foot down,
spin it out,
you're toast.
Yeah.
Right? As long as you don't think you're a hero and, like, turn everything off, you can still have a pretty good time with that car.
Yeah, so I mean, that is definitely appealing. And like, my dream, like, top car for the track was the ZL1.
Oh,
but that's like just way too much for me personally.
Yeah, like
price.
No one needs 650 horsepower.
Bang for the buck though, like spec sheet wise, for the money, it's probably like the best you can buy. So that's why that was always so appealing. But like, realistically, SS with the 1LE package is definitely in play. And so other things that I've thought about was maybe all-wheel drive. Like, you can get a Subaru STI, the latest gen, for about that much. I was looking around,
sub 40,
and it's kind of crazy that they're that much, because they weren't really
before
the pandemic. So used isn't as appealing, because there's so much more. So that came into play. So there's a lot of things to consider, but that's kind of where I'm currently at with my car situation.
Let me give you my vote.
Okay. Let's hear what your vote is.
This is not knowing what the new cars we talk about. Like, we don't know the specs or anything yet, but I have a feeling that the new Civic Type R, the upcoming one, and the GR Corolla are going to be the cars to get for specifically for your
my situation. Yeah.
Like, as much as I love the Camaro and everything, end of the day, I think even with all the systems being great and everything, the driver aids, I think the power is just going to be a little too much. That's number one.
Yeah, because the most powerful car that I've driven on track is my Fiesta, which is like
Which
a
is
little
200
over 200
horsepower.
pounds. Yeah.
And then the number two reason is it's not that great as a daily. Like you can daily it, but the trunk opening is tiny. The visibility is a huge problem. That's well documented at this point. But it's just not a very daily friendly car.
Yeah, so definitely. And then that means I have to wait a decent amount of time because they just teased the new CTR at the Tokyo Auto Salon. I think there's some videos out on it.
Yeah.
But they haven't really released anything official yet as of recording of this particular podcast. So yeah, and then if that GR Corolla comes out, that would be pretty sick as well. But I feel like it's going to be smaller than the CTR because it's a Corolla, right? I mean...
Well, technically, Corolla and Civic are.
I guess they're in the same category. But yeah. I'm just stepping up from the Fiesta because I have a little bit more capital now, and I can upgrade to something a little nicer. But I did love the Fiesta as a car. Yeah, like I had a really good time with that, and it was pretty bulletproof. Like I didn't have any issues. Yeah, it never overheated. I didn't tune it or anything. Everyone online, I mean, it kind of attracted a wide variety of enthusiasts. I would think more of the tuner, kind of ricey type of enthusiasts more than the track enthusiasts.
Yeah, the ones who just want to stance it out.
Because everyone like online would be like, oh, it overheats. Like I've never overheated on the track because I was stock tuned, and it's more than capable in stock.
Yeah, if you tune it, of course you're going to need to upgrade the cooling.
Yeah, exactly. And so it was a fantastic car. Aftermarket was just so. There's I mean, I'm a poser now. This is Whoosh Motorsports. Yeah. I would buy all my stuff through them or Mountune. So it was very formidable. But yeah, it's time to say goodbye to that car and move on to other things. So other than that, I think your suggestions are good. We'll have to wait, and maybe we'll do another one when they announce the new CTR and then announce new Corollas, because I will be heavily invested in those announcements and releases. And I don't think there's anything else coming out.
So there's one thing you could do is if you wanted to save some money, actually, you can get the new Civic Si. Because you can get that.
That's like 200 horsepower, right? Something
it's
like
that? It's like 205 horsepower, I think, or 200. Yeah, but you can tune it. And that's the latest gen, meaning like it's the same body style as what the new Civic Type R will be.
It will just be the WRX is to the Sty.
Pretty much.
Kind of,
yes.
Oh, I didn't really take that into consideration. Maybe that'd be the what I go. But yeah, like net is that the car market's crazy. Just wanted to talk to you about like that. It's a seller's market for sure. Carvana experience was very positive. Yeah. Looking forward to the next steps. It'll probably be within the next coming months, trying to figure that out. Like I said, looking forward to trying to list my A86. I'll bring a trailer because it needs an owner who can appreciate it. I appreciate it, but I don't drive it near enough to justify keeping it. And in San Jose, they get stolen all the time. Yeah, like there's always a post saying, "Oh man, keep an eye out," and for my 8.6, it's got stolen, and then you find the next day it's all chopped up. Right, with all the aftermarket parts are gone. Right. So probably gonna be listing that. And then we'll see what's next in store for me car-wise. But in the comments below, do you have a seller experience that maybe, you would like to share? Or, are you in a car, what car should I buy situation like I am? Let's talk about it in the comments and let's see what everyone's got. Because the car market it's kind of weird right now. Yeah, there's a lot going on. So, I think we're good for this one then. All right. Yeah. As he said, leave your comments below if you have any suggestions for what car you should get next. 35 to 40. Maybe if it's really a good suggestion at 45. Who knows? But there's a lot of options in that range. A lot of options. Yeah. Let us know what you think, and we'll see you in the next podcast.